Hey guys, what's up? Taurus here. Thank you so much for joining me at the episode 4 of the Hustle Duo show. And today I'm hosting one and only Leah Santa Cruz. Leah is a meditation teacher that moved to Bali from Los Angeles after quitting her corporate job, and she had what considered to be a really successful career working in companies like Microsoft and Thrive Market, but the constant stress and anxiety kind of caused her to burn out and look for alternatives in life. And what she chose is go deeper in meditation practice. She became a meditation teacher and now completely moved her life to Bali, where she's leading meditation retreats. She's also a life coach. She's doing daily yoga and meditation classes. If you want to check out her retreat, go to the website balilikeaboss.com, where she's going to have a meditation retreat pretty soon. I think it's May 26th until June 1st. Going to be hosted, of course, in Bali. So check that out. And if you want to know anything more about her, it's leahsantacruz.com. But you can also stick around and listen to this episode where we will chat with Leah about how and why she left her corporate job and moved to Bali. Also, how to use meditation to keep your energy at the right level, so you don't burn out and you don't have to quit your job. We will also talk what a meditation is and how can it help you to manage everyday stress, and we'll also discuss what her retreats are about and what it's like to go to one of those retreats and why is it a good idea to go there. So stick around. It's going to be a very nice episode. And for those who are joining the Hustle Duo Show podcast just for the first time, it's a weekly podcast where I chat with experts in body and mind growth about how can you and me and everybody basically improve and become a better version of ourselves. It's a part of the project that is called Hustle Duo that I do together with my wife. And what we do, we prepare lots of 21-day long challenges for the body and mind. And you can do those challenges to basically test new habits, see what it's like to try new things and challenge yourself. You can find all information at www.hustleduo.com. All right, thank you for sticking around in this long intro, and let's jump over straight to the episode with Leah. Hi, Leah. Thank you so much for joining the Hustle Duo show. True honor.
Happy to be here.
True honor. Thank you. Thank you. So I would love to start with a different kind of question. And I've seen while I was researching about you online that in one of the websites you say that you're a meditation teacher and that you love hip hop. So so tell me, who's your favorite artist?
Hip hop dancing.
Hip hop dancing. All right. I thought hip hop music. All right.
Hip hop dancing.
All right. So you danced before, or how come?
I actually love taking hip hop dance classes. I find it just works my mind. Just learning choreography, I have to use my brain, but it's also good exercise and it's really fun. So I always feel great when I leave. I like sassy.
Gotcha.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's not the same energy as meditation. It's kind of different.
Well, I think
so you gotta be
that's what works the best.
You gotta have it.
Yeah. I think once two extremes, it's really. This is when your brain develops the most. Awesome. Yeah. And you are currently living in Bali. Is that correct?
Yes, Bali, Indonesia.
Awesome. So, I think it's a dream destination of many people. And, make us jealous, or better not make us jealous, but make us happy for you, So tell us, what is it like? For how long are you there already? And just what is it like?
I've been here a year. Yeah. I moved here from Los Angeles beginning of last February. And it was a pretty big adjustment at first because it's a completely different culture, different way of life, but in a different, humidity. It came from a desert area to a humid place. I was sweating a lot. It was like totally new currency. Had to learn how to ride a scooter, learn how to, get around a new place, meet people. But I haven't had a better experience in my life than this adventure. And so it's taught me a lot. And the people here, the culture of the Balinese, they're just some of the kindest, most dedicated people you'll ever meet. And so I've been blown away by their generosity and their kindness. And so I've learned a lot just being here from them as teachers, and getting to enjoy the jungle, of course. And oceans, all that. Yeah.
Of course. So you're not planning to come back to the other sunny part, Los Angeles?
I love visiting, but I just kind of feel like this is home for now. So we'll see what the future holds. But yeah, for now, this is where I've landed.
Yeah. And the word for encouragement, we just chatted before, we started recording this, that, media is making a big fuss about this volcano, and people shouldn't worry about it. So just give a word of encouragement that everybody should still keep coming. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a big, massive media hype about the volcano being very dangerous and you better watch out. There's really no worries to come to Bali right now. There's the activity, the volcano has gone down. There's hardly any seismic activity they're seeing, and pretty much we're not going to have like any problems if you come visit. So better to come now while there's not a ton of tourists, and then you get to really experience all of Bali for its glory and enjoy it. Yeah.
Got it.
So don't worry about the volcano. We're good here.
Very good. All right. Well, we're going to have to, go and see by ourselves. Yeah. Awesome. So let's jump right into your personal story. So you seem like a very, relaxed and zen kind of person. But have you ever always been like that?
Maybe now.
Yeah.
Not always.
No, not always. All right. So, give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, sure. So I used to work in the tech industry. I was in a marketing and advertising professional for about 7 years. I had studied psychology and neuropsych in college, but I took a detour from that and ended up falling into marketing and advertising, not intentionally, but it's just the way that things worked at the time. And so I was working for Microsoft for much of that time and pulling like 70, 80 hour week, working, and just mountains of emails, all the deadlines. And I thought that I could just push through it because I was in my 20s and I had all this energy and I was striving to like make something of myself and be successful. And, from what society told me that what success was. And so, but I really lost my balance in that. And, I thought I could just be like this locomotive train, but I just lost my steam. And so it came out in the form of anxiety. I had depression at different times. I even started having panic attacks. And that's when I really knew, okay, there's something really wrong here. So I, went to a, therapist at the time. They gave me some medication. Oh, just take this and that'll help you. But it would really just create something else. And so I knew the root cause wasn't being looked at. And I started turning to more like holistic methods, went to naturopaths. I went on these restrictive diets. I started exercising like crazy because I was just very intense. So, it became this, I'm going to be a runner now. And that's going to be the way that I find balance and just, release some of the stress. But then it just became like 5 miles, 6 miles, 7. Eventually it was like 10 miles of running in the morning before I go to work. And
intense. Wow.
I was running in marathons.
And then another like 14 hours of work, right? Or 12,
so I
whatever.
got actually an injury. I injured myself because there was just too much stress on my body at that point. And a couple days before the LA marathon, I got an orthopedic doctor took an X-ray and he said, "Your running career's over." And I was like, "No, what am I going to do about stress?" So I pulled myself into a yoga studio and I started doing yoga. And I just remember like tears just falling down my face one day in a class and like not even sure what was happening. I just was like the release that I was looking for. And so my teacher at the time, his name was Steve Ross. He invited me to do his yoga teacher training. And I jumped in curious to know more of what was really going on under the surface. It was a lot more than just like yoga exercises, right? And it had a huge impact on my inner self. So he happened to have been one of the guitarists for Fleetwood Mac, and he'd left their tour to go become a Vedic monk in India for years. And so then he was this, real yogi meditation teacher, and I learned all about philosophy from him. I'd done some meditation when I was a kid, but I just really rediscovered what it truly was and how it worked, all the different ways to do it. And my life just completely, the pathway of my life completely changed. And I ended up leaving my job a few months after that training ended and did some travel and came back to LA and started a wellness community center, not knowing what I was doing. Everyone thought I was crazy for leaving my, big time job without any like security, or all the risk that I took was really what I needed. It was, it wasn't easy. And it was downright like terrifying at times, but it was really following my heart. Like it had changed me so much that I wanted to bring it to other people. And I think it was just following that desire and following that passion, just saying, this is something bigger than me. And I believe in this so much that it's giving me the courage to step away from what I know isn't aligned for me.
Yeah, no. It's, I think a lot of people can relate to a lot of parts what you've been saying, to like, I mean, you're just an example of, working super hard. And like you say, like, just trying to power through any kind of, challenge, any kind of, maybe instinct that tells to you inside that, no, you shouldn't be doing this. But then you just think like, I'm just going to power through, I'm just going to do it. Like, don't be a sissy. Come on, grow up.
Brain. Wait, what happens if you fail? What happens if you don't make enough money? What if everyone shuns you?
I think this word, the concept of security, what you mentioned, just should be eliminated. I mean, it's such a false feeling of security, it's just, just running away. I mean, any second is, I mean, you just cannot control life, right? I mean, it's like anything could happen anytime.
It's not necessarily saying that everyone should leave their corporate job. Many people are happy doing what they love what they're doing. It's a good fit for their personality. It wasn't for me, but what meditation and what these practices really taught me is discover more about myself. And that's really what meditation is. It's just, the purpose is just to be yourself, because most of us have lost touch with our real beings because we're so caught up in the doing of this is what I'm supposed to do, thoughts of the past, thoughts of the future, what society's expecting, our parents, our friends, and we get caught up in life circumstances and we end up just missing ourselves and what's present and what's real for us. And so that's what that training really brought me into, is going, whew, I'm back to me and what's right for me and what do I want and what feels good and what doesn't, and trust that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you are definitely seem to be, thinking about that a lot and kind of specializing a little bit on helping people do that. So tell me how could people, before they reach that, limit where they cannot take it anymore and they quit everything and, they change their life, 180 degrees, how can they kind of maintain, like you say, maybe they enjoy their job, already, but there's still natural stress and anxiety, coming from all sides all the time. How can they kind of, still work on themselves, still find themselves while keeping their current life, So is there any advice? Yeah.
Well, I think that, picking up a practice like meditation or a practice that's going to bring you to more self-awareness is really first and foremost before you make any major big life moves, because there's nothing worse than, recklessly jumping off a cliff without having somewhere to land you. And that really, like that net to land you is your self-awareness and your tools to help you find balance no matter what uncertainty comes. And so before you take a big leap like that, I really highly recommend spend some time, give yourself a few months of learning how to meditate and really being consistent with that practice so that you can listen to your inner voice and being able to know what it is that you truly want and feel where that pull is guiding you, where your life's guiding you. And if you are happy with your job, but you're just feeling a lot of additional stress, still meditation practice is going to help you find that balance and the health and well-being that you need to have the energy to keep doing what you love and to not burn out the way that I did and the way so many other people do. We just run ourselves to the ground without taking care of us first. You can't give to others until your cup is full. So otherwise you drain yourself, and that's a hard life lesson. That's a big smackdown.
Got it. Yeah, of course. So let's get a little bit to the, practical side of meditation. There's a lot of, I think a lot of people, once they start, they kind of heard enough of theory. They know that it might help them to cope with stress and, find their inner peace and be, self-aware and stuff like that. But once they start, they face all kind of difficulties. it might, what they expect it to be. They probably, a lot of people, once they start, they start to, just close their eyes and think of nothing, to have a very clear mind right away, or feel benefits the first day, but when that doesn't happen, people start thinking like, it's not for me, or it's, it's not working, or something like that. So what's your practical advice on how to make sure you don't burn out meditating, or, what kind of mistakes you make and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's first important to understand really the fundamental of what meditation is and why we do it. So like I mentioned, the purpose isn't to remove your thoughts. Many people discover a sense of calm and inner peace when they're practicing meditation, or like lowered stress or lowered fight or flight nervous system response. They get more creative, or they just improve the relationship to self. But that can't be the goal of meditation, because if your goal is to cut off your thoughts or your emotions, or to cut off reality, you actually become, that's what you're resisting is going to persist even more. So you'll end up just getting more of whatever it is you're resisting. And so we're meditating to discover ourselves, to become more attuned to reality, not to cut it out. But we practice it in a way as an observer, and not judging it as right or wrong, just really being aware of what is. And when we learn to create a sense of acceptance, we discover like the rhythm of life within us and around us. So it's not that calming down the mind is more of a byproduct of meditation, a side effect of meditation, instead of being the thing you're trying to achieve. Because imagine if you tried to fall asleep. You strain to close your eyes, and you push your thoughts away, and you try really hard, and you struggle. Your body, I now command you to fall asleep. It's just like, when does that ever work?
Yes,
Probably
sir.
not. I command you now to fall asleep. But that's because sleep's a naturally occurring event that only happens when you relax enough and let go of trying to do it. Then you fall into like this state of just being relaxed and letting go. Meditation is just like that. So you can't force it. You can't force your brain to stop thinking any more than you can force your liver to stop filtering, or your heart to stop beating. It's what it does. It's its job. And thank God it does that. Otherwise it'd be brain dead. But you don't go into it with a sense of trying to achieve something, or to feel something, or to not feel something. Because again, you'll only get more of what it is you're resisting. So that's not practicing meditation. That's practicing judgment or resistance. And that really is only going to lead you to self-loathing, or to feel frustration, or give you a headache, or eventually you'll quit and you'll say, hey, this doesn't work for me. So it's really practice of it's the art of not doing anything, of just relaxing, of letting go of control and resistance, and learning to accept what is. And within that structure, once you have that foundation, you can play with all different kinds of techniques. So, but yeah, it really does work. Just even being in that state for a few minutes can lower your stress levels significantly. There's some studies say that within 15 minutes of meditation, your stress levels can lower like 36%. So imagine like how much better your life would be if you lowered your stress levels by like 40%. I mean,
it would be 40% better, for sure.
Yeah. Stress is the cause of most of our problems.
Totally.
In the West.
In the West, yeah, exactly. In the East, they are already more zen,
I
guess.
Different.
All right, gotcha. So what's your advice? I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit about your retreat, and, how people come. So let's say a beginner comes to you and, for meditation practice. And is it about, like, at the very beginning, especially, is it about regularity? Like, it's better to do every day, but shorter? Or is it better to, go full in the first week, you do, 2 hours a day or something like that? What's your advice how to make it stick, or is it just very individual? I don't know.
That's a good question. I hesitate to say one's better than the other. I think it depends on the person and what your intention is behind it. Some people can throw themselves into like a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat and meditate for 10 hours a day, and you're going to struggle through it. Like, you will. But they're up for the challenge and they're ready to do that. For most 99% of people, that wouldn't really work for them. And it's better to not force and strain and struggle to sit and meditate for 20 minutes and force yourself to it, then it'd be better to sit for like 3 or 5 minutes and just invite a sense of relaxation and listen to a nice piece of music, or to repeat a mantra, or to follow your breath. That's actually a better method for most people, I'd say, of starting, because it's all about what can you do to make sure that it's going to be progress, not perfection. Again, it's like kind of moving away from that, trying to achieve something and be all intense about it, because usually that creates burnout and struggle. But
I love that.
If it's really a lifestyle practice, it's like crash dieting, does going on a juice cleanse, is that really like better than making a small consistent changes in your diet?
Totally.
It depends on what you're shooting for.
I'm gonna write it down. Progress, not perfection. This is exactly what I believe in so strongly, and I think that a lot of people say no before they say yes. Just because they're like they want that perfection right away. They imagine that end result, and maybe they try on 1-2 days, or 1-2 weeks, depending on the goal, and then they quit, because like they realize how hard it is, and it's kind of like it didn't, the results didn't come so quick. But it's all about progress. It's all about making those little steps, because it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? So and only after reaching a certain level, you understand what the next level is, right? I mean, it's not that easy as many people think in any other stuff. So that's also what we preach.
I mean, a lot of people give up after a few tries, because they think, I can't meditate, it's not working for me. But the truth is, it works for everyone, and everyone can do it. If we gave up the first time we tried to learn how to walk, or ride a bike, or swim, or throw a baseball, anything that you tried to do the first time, you probably didn't do it well, or you failed at it, but we kind of know that'd be ridiculous to quit after the first or second time. We just keep practicing. So, I always recommend people to start off small, 3 or 5 minutes. Eventually you work your way up when that feels manageable. You move to 10 minutes a day, and then eventually 15, eventually 20. You don't need to really meditate for longer than 20 minutes a sit. But some people, they can work their way up to 45 minutes an hour or longer. It's just, those people have been meditating for years. And I wouldn't say jump right into the deep end. Give yourself that grace and that time to learn to be a beginner and to fine tune your understanding of meditation. So get guidance and practice with people. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So, just practice, people, just practice. That's why we always say, that's why we have these 21-day challenges, because we think 21 days in your life of thousands of days is just a drop in the ocean, and come on, you can definitely do everything for 21 days. Just practice it, small steps, make a little progress, and you'll be surprised.
And I'd like to say something about 21 days too. I think the person that really coined that 21 days to change a habit, was, I believe was a plastic surgeon, and he had discovered in his own theories that it took him 21 days to change a habit. And then it became like this universal accepted law. It takes 21 days to change. But for some people that may be true. For some people it may be 16. For others it may be 200 days to change a habit. So don't be hard on yourself if it's taking you longer than 21 days for it to feel like it's habitual, or that it feels like something you've really integrated in your life.
Exactly.
Just know that, it's different.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, there's even like, I'm reading this book now by Ray Dalio, and he says it took like 1.5 years until people kind of, implement some kind of a strong organizational habit. So that's, definitely a lot longer. But, what we think is that kind of 21 days, obviously, most likely it won't build a strong habit that will, kind of just be part of your life forever. But it kind of gives you that, it plants a little seed, right? A good enough
platform to jump off of.
Exactly. Sure. It's all about building the base, and then from there, if you feel that it's natural, you can take it, but it's also should be enough to understand if it's like, if it's part of you or not. So, 21 days is something definitely very manageable. Awesome. So, progress, not perfection. Yeah. So next question, and this question is from my wife, actually. Sadly, she is now in a 9-to-5 job, so I'm doing this alone. But one of your focus is teaching women and men to feel comfortable in their body. So how do you think meditation can help? Like basically working on your mind can help to be more comfortable with physical part of you.
Yeah, you mean helping with like sort of body image, or
kind of
there's
like
a lot
kind
of
of
different
accepting
types
yourself.
of there's, I think, the foundation of meditation is acceptance. So when we meditate, we learn how to accept the air that we breathe. We learn how to accept the space that we're in, the sounds that we hear. We accept a sense of gravity. All those things are pretty easy for us to accept. But we start to then take it a level deeper once you've gotten comfortable with learning how to let go of trying to control what's happening, and then accepting what's happening. So we start to accept the thoughts that we're having. Okay, my mind's thinking, I'm having thoughts. You start to objectively, without judgment, take a look at the type of thoughts that you have going on. And some of those thoughts may be thoughts about yourself, thoughts of criticizing thoughts or judgmental thoughts about yourself. So it really gives you that chance to start to be that observer and really notice it, because oftentimes we're kind of mindlessly thinking things and just we're so in the thought that we're not taking that little bit of separation and looking at it and going, okay, wait a minute. That's just a thought. That's just a belief. It's not reality of what's happening right now. It's just something occurring in my awareness. So you sort of create that separation from it, start to notice your own patterns of thinking about yourself. So that's the first step, is creating awareness. And then once you can practice acceptance enough, you start to be able to translate that towards yourself, acceptance for the body that you're in, for the beauty and the wonder in your body, of all the miracle and the magic of being able to hear, being able to see, being able to smell, being able to touch, even experiencing sensations in your body, emotion or pain. All of these things are a gift, really. And so meditation kind of teaches us to see the gift in the beauty of life that we're experiencing. So to appreciate the small things. And when you can do that, your perspective about life starts to change. There's also a lot of techniques that involve loving kindness and compassion. And so really focusing on sending yourself compassion as well as others improves your relationship to yourself. There's types of meditation you can use to really visualize the health and the vibrancy and what it is you want to have for yourself. So those are also really fun and really powerful.
Exactly. Yeah, I think two biggest concepts of like what I feel most connected with, like what started meditate is the gratitude part, right? Like I feel once I started practicing gratitude, right? Like once I started writing down actual, things I'm grateful for and stuff like that, it became a lot more natural, right? Like I started to appreciate little things a lot easier. It's just also, I think people don't realize that all of these things are actually just it's another muscle, is another skill you can actually develop. It's not, you won't turn it on like a light switch, from the moment you decide to, but by practice, you're gonna kind of, just use it more and more. So that part I like a lot. And you mentioned kind of positive visualization, and this is another challenge. Actually, what we are planning to do is this 21 days kind of law of attraction, positive visualization kind of theory. So what are your thoughts on that? Are you a believer in law of attraction? And
totally, 100%. I think there's some things that people have some misconceptions around it, and they do part of it, but they don't complete the process, and so they're like, "This isn't working," because visualizing alone is actually not enough. Positive thinking alone is not enough. It's just half of the equation. It's just part of it. When we start to visualize an idea of what we want, maybe it's a better career situation, maybe it's love in our life, or better health, or whatever it is for you, what you're desiring. When you can sit in a meditation and simply just picture and let your mind visualize what it is in the form of images, really inviting all your senses to create that. Your prefrontal cortex, your frontal lobe it's connected to all the other parts of your brain. So it starts to gather all this information around like books that you've read and movies that you've seen, things in your life that have happened that have, that can kind of display that for you, what that would look like. So once you've done that, your brain actually, it's called pre-rehearsal in psychology. Doesn't know the difference between something that is really happening right now and something that your imagination is creating. So you let yourself play with that for a while, but most people stop there and what's important to know is that your thoughts and your feelings both need to be in alignment with what it is that you desire, because you can be thinking something all day long, I'm going to get out of debt, I'm going to get out of debt, I'm going to like make this money, but over here all you're feeling is debt, because that's where your emotions are at. That's the level where your emotions are. Then this thing can't really occur because there's incoherence between your thoughts and your feelings. So the emotion and the thoughts have to really be aligned before you start to become a magnet for things. And then the law of attraction just has to work. So once you started to visualize something, you want to make sure that you take the time. There's varying thoughts about this. Some people believe it takes 17 seconds to change your emotional frequency or vibration to align with something. But at least spend some time letting your body, where is that emotional center, start to really feel what it is that you're visualizing. And then once you've really been able to conjure up that emotion, like how would it feel if you had it right now?
So feel like you mean like even all the senses, right? Like what it would smell, like what kind of sound would it be, and
how would that feel?
Yeah.
Would it feel sexy? Would it feel exciting? Would it feel relief or freedom? Would it be energizing? Would it be calming? Like, sorry, there's a helicopter flying over, of course.
All right, no worries. Yeah.
So you can ask yourself, what would that feel like if I had this right now?
So some rich people coming to the.
It would feel like shaking in my house.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in that helicopter now, flying to my private villa. I feel it.
Yeah. What if you're in a helicopter right now, flying over me? So once you really start to ask that question, your body knows. It has had some semblance of these things before. Well, it would feel love. It would feel in love. It'd feel excited. Or if it was health that you were desiring, what would that feel like in your body? Maybe it would feel like relief. It would feel like freedom. It would feel like vibrancy, energized. You start to really ask that question and then paint that picture emotionally in your body. And then when that happens, things start to really click really quickly, and things come in alignment.
So do you think you are where you are now because of that? Because you practiced that?
Oh, completely.
100%. Okay.
I was practicing, I call manifesting, or you can call it seeding. There's lots of different words for it. Mental rehearsal visualization for years. And specifically for about a year before moving here, I didn't even know I was going to move to Bali, but I had this picture on my, I have a little vision board, a lot of us do, but of a jungle house in Bali or in some place that was tropical. And I would look at it and I would meditate on it, and I would ask those questions. What would it feel like? What would I be doing? Who would I be around? Like, what would I feel in my body? And then I would invite that feeling. And I would just sit there every day for a little bit of time and do that. And, once it happened, it was like, I ended up in a jungle house, literally, that looked almost like the picture that I had in my mind. And It was just so bizarre how these things work in a way that you couldn't even made more perfect.
Exactly. No, I heard a lot of those stories, and actually I'm super, super interested to start practicing it, myself and ourselves, my wife. And this is, one of the next challenges we're going to do. And just super excited to see, not this, some kind of magic part of it, but just, normal, how to basically, like you said, it's all about bringing emotions, your thoughts at one line, so that's the thing, that's just a thing you have to practice, right? So
yeah, you can look at Dr. JoeDispenza. He talks a lot about this. He's brings a lot of neuro
how do you spell it?
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
JoeDispenza. Okay. He's doing a lot of leading research in this field of law of attraction and what's really happening from a scientific perspective. And so he's got teams of neuroscientists coming to his retreats, and people are having miraculous healings and spontaneous changes in their lives, which can't really be explained on any normal level. So great book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is also a good one to talk about this subject.
Cool. So I'm definitely gonna put all these resources, Dr. Joe and this book, into the show notes. So anybody who's listening this also on the audio or video, if you're watching us, guys, Go to hustledua.com/meditation, and you'll find this interview and other interviews. And for example, interview with your friend Ben Dekker, right? Which I think will be published by the time I publish this video. So it was also a very, very deep conversation about meditation practice. We had a lot of fun.
I love Ben, actually. He was part of my story. When I left Microsoft, I started a wellness center in Venice Beach, Los Angeles, and he was our spiritual director. So him and I worked together founding this whole spiritual community center, wellness center.
That's a title to have, spiritual director. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to 21st
kind of ambiguous,
century.
But we're like, hey, we'd have weekly meditation gatherings and host them together. So him and I go back.
Awesome. So that was just a coincidence that you both ended up being on the same podcast. And super grateful. Good. So let's talk also about the business side of your life, right? So you've obviously quit your corporate life, 9 to 5, worked at amazing companies that many people dream to work for, Microsoft, Thrive Market, right? And had what a lot of people think as already a success, but you quit, and now you are a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher, right? You do all these retreats. So tell me a little bit of how do you make the living now? What are your services? What do you do? Yeah.
So I'm certified in yoga, but I chose to focus more of my teachings on meditation, and I partner with yoga teachers and other coaches, and we lead retreats around the world. A lot of them are here in Bali, some Thailand, all over, but want to make it about part service. Sometimes we, in Thailand last year, we volunteered at an elephant sanctuary, and it's really about the seva, or the giving back, and the volunteering part, but also taking a moment to get out of your everyday life and out of your bubble to get some perspective, because that's what helped me a lot too. And so creating, finding a sense of community of other like-minded people who are also wanting to better their lives and looking for more self-awareness and personal discovery. And you get a chance to, eat clean and do yoga and practice meditation and learn all these things in an immersive environment, so you can take those tools back home for you. So I think everyone should try a yoga or meditation retreat at least once and give it a shot. It's really powerful, the kind of transformation that can happen in a week's time, but it's only because you're given tools to practice when you go home. Just going to a motivational talk alone isn't enough if they're not giving you real tools that you can do afterwards.
Exactly. This is what I've also talked to another girl who does meditation retreats, and she also said that she felt that, after her meditation class, like a class is just, let's say, or a yoga class, just 1 hour, but then, 1 hour in one day, you basically you get sucked back into your daily life. And that's why retreats are actually good, even if they are relatively short, 5-7 days, they still kind of allow you to be focused on that specific, kind of skill development for that period of time. And that already, that undivided attention makes a big difference, right?
Totally. But, it's really consistency to bringing it home for you, because that's all the benefits that you hear about with, helping with stress and anxiety. Well, that only comes with consistent practice, because, we jump right back into these experiences that trigger our fight or flight response. And, 10,000 years ago, we were hunting in the woods and a saber-toothed tiger would come and jump at you, and you'd have this fight or flight response reaction. And, your body would start to produce acid that shuts down your digestive system, and then your blood coagulates, and then, all these things happen. Your immune system shuts down because you're just going into fight or flight mode. And so you can fight, or you can run really fast. But today we don't really have we don't have saber-toothed tigers jumping at us. What we have is an inbox that's flooded with emails when we come to work, or we have a pile of projects that we need to get to, or we have, demands, ever increasing demands coming at us. And so that's our saber-toothed tiger today in this world. And it does trigger our fight or flight response, even if we don't realize on a more subtle level it does. And so most of us are living with that all day long. So it's important to have a practice that not only can help you release some of the tension and stress that you've been storing for decades in your body, because most of us have a lot of it still in our bodies, a backload of it. But once you've done that, like go to yoga retreat, go to meditation retreat, get rid of some of that you're storing and carrying with you. But then from there on, have a practice that you can come back to that actually helps you to have more what they call adaptation energy to be able to manage the new stressors that you're going to be exposed to. Because you can't change the fact that there's just going to be stressors in your life. There's always going to be more demands, changes in expectation. Life will throw you curveballs and you can't control that. But what you can control is how you respond to it and how you take care of yourself so that you're better prepared to like handle those demands. And that's where meditation comes in really strongly.
Got it. Yeah. So probably that part of, coming back from the retreat or, any other kind of strong experience is that adaptation is a lot important, I guess, right? Because otherwise you just had a nice 1 week and then you just came back on being, living the usual life. So that's also, so run us through a little bit through like a typical day in your retreat, so how much of it is yoga or meditation or eating? I don't know, like a typical day.
Usually we'll wake up in the morning and we'll have like some
How
fruit.
Early? How early do you wake up?
It's not too crazy early. We're not one of those like regimented, really strict wake up at 4 a.m. kind of retreats. Casually like let people kind of stroll in, but some people choose to come to the morning meditation. We'll usually do like an outdoor active meditation in the morning, walking meditation or being out in nature, because it's just so fabulous to be in nature that early in the morning. 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and let people kind of attune to, especially being in a new time zone. And then from there, we usually have a morning like yoga practice, get your body moving, get it flowing, and then have breakfast together. Everyone eats together, create community, meet people that you would have never met before from a totally different walk of life. People form lifelong friendships at these retreats. I've seen people leave not knowing the person when they came, and they leave having a best friend, and they just like inseparable. It's pretty cool to see that. And then usually we give some free time in the day for you to just be in reflection, or for you to explore, or for you to relax on your own. We stay at pretty nice resorts where there's usually like an Ayurvedic wellness spa or place for you to get treatments.
So the pictures definitely nice.
Yeah. And then I like to have like sessions. Some days we'll have a session where there's a sharing or a skill that we'll learn, talk about maybe intimacy in your life, or how to step up as a better leader and communicator, some mindfulness skills that you can take with you in your lifestyle and learn how to integrate to your life. We often have like a restorative class at the end of the day for like deep stretching and like all that deep, wonderful like body movement flow that's it's very healing. And then follow that with meditation and dinner. So there's lots of like chances to eat with people, to play with people. A couple times in the week we'll have an outdoor adventure. It could be a hike or like river rafting, or going to a temple, learning about the native culture that you're in. So it's a full rounded experience. Many people find that it's like they had no idea like what they were capable of doing and how good it felt to just be that so balanced. Like the practices are healing in themselves. You don't have to do anything extra. They themselves alone will change you from the inside out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Got it. So definitely, I think even being in a nature, it's like, it just does the wonders by itself, right? I mean, imagine spending just 5 days in the nature, like without any stress and, no to-dos. I think that's already like awesome. I would love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then retreats is part of your kind of where you make a living, and what else do you do?
Yeah, I teach meditation classes locally,
like in Bali?
Here in
like
Bali.
Locally, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've also teach intimacy and connection workshops to help people, give people a safe place to learn playful ways of connecting with each other. Friends, family, relatives, loved ones, romantic partners. So that's kind of an extension of our inner relationship, and it can be extended outwardly, how you relate to others. I also am leading online programs and courses. Right now I have a 30-day jumpstart that people are joining me to do 30 days of yoga, meditation, meal plans, and lots of transformational personal development work. So kind of coaching people through that. I also do a bit of life coaching. And so, kind of just depends on what a person really needs. But I love to be able to give people more holistic practices. Here's, there's coaching and guidance over here. There's meditation practice, yoga, like health and well-being, nutrition. I think we need to look at our health from a holistic standpoint and cover all those areas.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Cool. So I will definitely add all those links in the show notes if people want to check it out, and they should. And I would love to also meet you. As I mentioned, me and my wife are coming over to Bali in April.
Yeah.
In April, yeah. So if we'll definitely jump into one of your classes. If I think April is that busy period when a lot of tourists come.
Bali Spirit Fest is going to be in April, and a lot of people come for that. So
what kind of fest? Sorry.
Bali Spirit Fest. It's
Spirit
yoga,
Fest.
meditation, lots of workshops, breath work, dance, all sorts of fun stuff, concert. So that's in the beginning of April, and I'll actually be leading a workshop there. But yeah, I'd love to visit with you when you're in town. And if you're coming to Bali, please check out some of my classes at the Yoga Barn, which is in Ubud.
We'll do. I think we'll stay around that area. Awesome. So we'll be able to meet live as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think we will slowly wrap up, and I just have a kind of few short last minute rapid fire questions. So let's do that. So tea or coffee?
I actually like coffee.
Yeah, good.
More than tea, but
yeah.
Unless it's a tea ceremony, I'm all about the tea.
Got it.
But no coffee before meditation.
Why?
Well, because the caffeine kind of makes it hard for you to get some of those calming benefits of meditation. So unless you want to meditate on the feeling of your body getting all revved up and amped up, which it's not what most people want.
I've never seen this kind of meditation where you're like pumped up meditation. Yeah, that would be a different kind of.
Yeah.
Somebody's calling my door. Probably a postman. Leave it at the door. So breakfast cereal or oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. All right. What is the best life advice you ever got?
Best life advice I ever got. Let's take things one day at a time.
One day at a time. It is progress, not perfection.
Yes.
When you think of the word successful, who's the first person that comes to mind and why?
Successful. I think of someone who inspires me, Marie Forleo. I think she is, in my mind, someone who's reached a lot of success in her career, but also success in her mentality about the world, and in her success in impacting people's lives and having a good relationship with her husband, and in what seems like from the outside, a really solid relationship with herself. So I'm inspired by that woman, and I recommend checking out some of her stuff if you get a chance.
All right. So it's Maria who, sorry?
Marie Forleo.
Forleo. Okay, I'll try to Google her and put the link there. And what are kind of resources or tools would you recommend? Like it could be online tool, or is there some specific meditation app you would recommend for people who would love to start?
Yeah, I think that if you love to start meditating, you can of course grab an app like Insight Timer. There's Headspace. There's a number of apps out there today. Calm app I've heard people using that can be helpful. I think there's nothing better than you can do than work with a meditation teacher, either privately or in a group setting where you can actually get feedback and ask questions, because meditation is such a personal practice. That's one of the common misconceptions, that thinking that there's one right technique. There's not one right technique for everyone. It's what works for you, works for you. So it's an exploration in discovering that. And that can be best done if you're, in a studio or you meditating in a group setting, or you're working directly with a meditation teacher who can help you go through that exploration and finding what does work for you. So give that a shot. If you have questions and you'd like to reach out to me, you can totally do that. But yeah, I definitely can't stress enough the importance of like being able to ask those questions and do that fine tuning.
Of course. So, and what would be the best way to contact you if people would love to?
Sure. You can reach out to me at my website, which is leahsantacruz.com. It's LeahSantaCruz.
Exactly.
.com.
Yeah. I'll put that.
Yeah.
I'll put that everywhere. So people definitely
There's a contact in there,
yeah.
or you can reach me at leah@leahsantacruz.com for email.
Got it. And the last question: what's the best purchase under the $100 that changed your life, or at least brought a huge positive, influence? Under the $100.
Best purchase under $100. A yoga mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah. You got to start somewhere. Yep. All right, Leah. It was a true pleasure. I would love to, keep chatting for many hours, but I'm afraid the attention span of some of our listeners, people have busy lives. I don't want to keep it like 10 hours long. I appreciate for all the gems, and value bombs you dropped today. Definitely a lot of food for thought. For those who want to start, or maybe already started, or maybe hopefully they already are doing it, or the meditation challenge we've put on our website. So thanks a lot for everything. That was a true pleasure.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure as well.
Hey guys, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find the show notes of this episode and other episodes on meditation topic by simply going to hustleduo.com/meditation, and you'll find everything right there. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast in general, please leave a review on iTunes. That would mean so much to us, because at the very beginning of the podcast, every review really counts and makes a big impact for us. And finally, if you want to keep in touch, simply go to our Instagram profile, The Hustle Duo. You'll find stories, posts, everything. We love hearing back from you guys. Anything you want to share, ask, comment. We love everything. So thank you. Enjoy the day, and see you in the next episode.